Welcome back. So in this video, let's discuss about databases. Okay. So basically, guys, in this particular series, we'll not go deeper into databases. We'll not go deeper into the SQL. We'll just give an overview of the SQL and databases because our main motto of this particular videos is to connect your Python to the databases and perform all the database operations using your Python. Okay. So first, let us understand what exactly is a database. So as the name says, database is where you can store some information, where you can store some data, right? Where you can electronically store some data. So that is basically called as database. And whenever you want to work with a database, you need a software for that. You need a management system for that. And that is basically called as a database management system. Okay. So if we just look at this is a symbol how a database looks. And we are working with something called as database management system. So what is a database management system? So a database management system is nothing but it's a software. It's a software which is written in multiple programming language. Okay. For working with your database, for managing your databases. When I say management of database, what do I mean by that? I'll come to that slowly. But a software, a management system, which will be helping us to manage your databases, to do various operations of the databases, you can use a software called as database management system. Generally, guys, in our market, we have n number of database management systems. If I just take out the list, these are the few database management system, very famous database management system available in the market. In this list, we will be mainly working on MySQL database management systems. We'll be mainly focusing on this particular database management system. Of course, apart from MySQL, you have Oracle, MongoDB, SQL Server, MariaDB, PostgreSQL, Microsoft Access, IBM DB2. But out of this, right now our focus is mainly on MySQL. We'll see how to connect your Python database, Python software to your MySQL database management system. Okay. So, okay. But the question is, when I say management, when I say database management, what kind of managing thing you can do? What kind of thing you can do with, what kind of operations you can do with DBMSs? So let's understand. When I say manage, what is manage? Means first thing is it can actually create databases, because in order to store my data, I need to create databases, right? I need to create databases. You can store your data, you can delete your data, you can update your data, you can read your data, etc. So all these kind of operations, etc. So all these kind of operations are possible by using your database management system. So in order to see, ultimately whatever operations you want to do with help of your database, like database is nothing but where you can store your data and do all the other operations. That operations, read and write operations, we basically call it as, that operations can be done by using MySQL. Apart from that, there are many advanced operations also, like giving permissions and doing a lot of other stuff, but we are not going that deeper. Let's focus on basic read and write operations right now. Okay. So basically these operations are in short form called as CRUD operations. CRUD, CRUD operations. So what is meant by CRUD? Create, read, so creating the database, reading the information from the database, updating the information in the database, and delete. So this is the short form generally called CRUD operations, we say. So these CRUD operations can be possible by using your database management system, as simple as that. Okay. So now we have got an understanding of basic understanding of what is a database management system. Now let's understand the type of databases present in generally in the market. Okay. So I'm talking types of databases based on the way the data we store. Okay, the way we store the data. Okay, cool. So when you come to type of databases, basically we have two types of databases. One is relational database and second one is non-relational database. Okay. So what is a relational database? If you are working with or if you want to store if you want to store a data in a form of a structured format, when I say structured format, what do I mean by that? In the form of a rows and columns, like kind of a spreadsheet. Okay, kind of a table. Okay, if you want to store your data in the kind of a table or a kind of a spreadsheet, you can use relational database management system. Okay, so it will be in a proper schema. So the proper schema is already mentioned, and it will be in a it will your data whatever you are having will be storing in that particular proper schema in a structured format. That is called as a relational database. Whereas non-relational means when you are storing your data in the form of an unstructured format. When I say unstructured format, what kind of thing? Maybe if you want to store your data in the form of key value pair. So we learned about something called as dictionary, right? So that's nothing but an unstructured key value pair. Like we call it as JSON data, for example. JSON data. If you want to store JSON data, we already worked with JSON files in file handling. So that kind of data, if you want to store, or maybe graph kind of data. Graph is also a unstructured data, graph database we call it as. So when you are storing your data in a form of a unstructured, there is no proper structure, there is no proper schema. You can store in a different, I mean in an unstructured format. That is basically called as a non-relational databases. So key value pairs, JSON data, text data, this all comes under a non-relational databases. Whereas proper tabular data, kind of a rows and columns with a proper schema, is basically called as a relational database. When I say proper schema, what do I mean? That means, for example, if you mention that this in this particular column I should store only integer will be stored. We cannot store a string or other kinds of types of data. That is basically called as a schema. Okay. Apart from that, there are a lot of other schemas, but just we are discussing the basic overview. Okay, so that's regarding your relational and non-relational databases. Okay, that's how you can say. And basically for relational databases, we have a database management system like Microsoft SQL Server. This is a relational database management system, and MySQL. So we are working with, mainly in our course we'll be working with relational databases only, and we'll be working with MySQL. Apart from that, for non-relational database, we have something called as MongoDB, and we also have something called as cloud file store. These are the database management systems for non-relational database. So now we have understood what exactly is relational and non-relational database.